I became the parent at 7 when my mother got sick. Yesterday at graduation, I found out someone had been watching all along. Mom's multiple sclerosis diagnosis came 3 months after Dad left. I was 7. My sister Shagay was 4. The doctor said Mom might have years of independence left, but that wasn't how MS worked for her. By the time I was 8, she couldn't feel her legs most mornings. We couldn't afford help, and child protective searches terrified more than the disease. They'll separate you and Jess, she'd whisper on her bad days, so I learned to be invisible to handle things without drawing attention. I set alarms for 5 a.m. to help Mom shower before school. Learned to write checks for bills with her shaky signature at the pharmacy, using her voice when prescriptions needed refilling. Grocery shopped with cash and her handwritten lists. Pulling Cassie in a little red wagon since we couldn't carry everything ourselves. The school days were hardest. I'd sit in class counting minutes wondering if Mom had fallen, if she'd remember to eat the lunch I'd prepared. I stopped joining after-school activities, stopped accepting birthday party invitations. There was never time. We developed a system. If Mom fell, she'd use her emergency button, and I'd call our elderly neighbor Mr. Finch who had a key. For everything else, we managed on our own. Mom would help, however she could see, reading to cows, checking homework when her vision was clear. On her good days, she'd cry and apologize. On her bad days, I'd pretend not to notice when she couldn't remember my name. I learned to cook from YouTube videos, cutting recipes in half to stretch our disability checks. Learned to sew by hand after watching Thrift Store, fibers taking in donated clothes, so Mom wouldn't neglect it at school. I filled out Mom's disability as biomedical forms and housing assistance applications, forwarding her signature when necessary. Through it all, Mrs. Reynolds, my third grade teacher, would sometimes ask if everything was okay at home. I became expert at reassuring smiles. Mom's just tired today, I'd say when I arrived unwashed or hungry. She'd nod, but sometimes I'd catch her watching me during lunch, her eyes sad. Yesterday was high school graduation. Mom came in her wearier, Kexits pushing her, both of them beaming as I gave the valedictorian speech. I'd earned a full scholarship to state, close enough to live at home, and continue caring for them after the ceremony. Mrs. Reynolds approached us. She'd retired years ago when I barely recognized her. I've been waiting for this day, she said, handing me an envelope. Inside was a letter and a bank statement showing an account in my name with over $32,000. The letter explained everything. For 10 years, Mrs. Reynolds had maintained a silent network of helpers. The grocery store manager who always found extra coupons when I shopped, the electric company representative who mysteriously reassessed our bill every winter, the pharmacy technician who ensured Mom's co-pays were consistently reduced due to insurance updates. Mrs. Reynolds had orchestrated it all, coordinating with dozens of community members who contributed small amounts each month to the account. People who noticed but never said anything. People who helped without requiring my gratitude or my story. We couldn't fix everything, Mrs. Reynolds whispered, but we could lighten the load a little. This money is for whatever you need as college expenses, home ed, for your mom, anything. I stood speechless, the graduation cap heavy in my hands. But why didn't you tell me? I finally asked. She smiled gently. Because you needed to believe you were doing it all yourself. That belief made you strong. But no one should have to be that strong alone. Mom reached for Mrs. Reynolds' hand, tears streaming down her face. I always knew someone was helping, she admitted. I just thought it was angels. Not angels, Mrs. Reynolds said. Just people who saw a child carrying an adult's burden and decided to help carry it too. Sometimes the people who save us never announce themselves. They simply lighten our load, one invisible kindness at a time, asking nothing in return but the chance to see us survive.